Hello? Luigi? Can you hear me?
Sorry, I have a coconut in my ear.
Try talking to me, Einstein.
Okay. Hello? Mario, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Haha, I've done it!
Ish, congratulations, Alexander Graham Mario. Speak to me. Mario, are you there? Darn, somebody put me on hold.
Super Mario, Super Mario, Super Mario World.
Super Mario World was a show from the past. And if you're thinking it's good, well, you'll be sorry you asked. Delfino and the Peach here are watching what they can. The budget was $2 and a piece of ham.
Super Mario World.
Super Mario World, it just looks like ass. The Supershow Saga, it's a gas! Okay, that was Storybook Workshop, which is a Wii game where the whole point of it is you record stories with the Wii Speak feature. So you record stories and you can listen back to them and you can use a voice changer and you can do all these things. And it's like, who needed this game to exist? Who is this for?
They had to make something to promote the Wii Speak.
It's obviously for children, but it's like, who is going through all the hoops for kids to make this even work? And it was a stream for Extra Life where you could pay money to ask them to play most any US released Wii game. They have every single GameCube game Steven Plays does, but they were doing it for Wii this year. And there were some crazy games being voted for. You'd get normal ones like, you should play Rhythm Heaven, or you should play Dokapon Kingdom, but some people are like, I want you to play Deal or No Deal for the Wii. I want you to play...
Oh no.
It's just absolutely terrible games. There was one time for the GameCube where, was it a roulette that they got Chicken Little, or did people suddenly vote for Chicken Little?
Horror.
Someone had voted for it on the roulette, and it managed to win, and it was absolutely hilarious. Chicken Little for the GameCube. At one point, they just start straight playing clips from the movie, and Steven's like, "Oh no, I don't want to get copyright strike." La 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 la.
Yeah.
No, but it's like they'll vote for him to play Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, and the next they're like, and now you have to play the Garfield Show, Threat of Space Lasagna, and then we'll do a real game, and then we'll go back to the Ringling Bros and the Barnum and Bailey Circus. You have to play that game now.
Yeah, the Wii is like, I think that's like, probably the most radical, quality of of their games, like more so than the PS2 probably.
You think the PS2's got some shovelware on it?
Oh yeah, it was like huge.
I suppose so. I know all the crazy games, but I see the good in them. Like Guitar Man is just whack, but it's good whack because it's an interesting rhythm game. And then there's Tulip, which just speaks for itself in
Tulip.
Crazy. But were they bad, crazy PS2 games, or were they just, we'll make
Just
anything?
Crazy.
I think with the Wii had a bigger reach to the more casual market. So while the PS2 was like the best-selling console, it did sell better. I think it's because that wide, demographic. We got a lot of we got a lot more crazy crap, a lot more low-quality crap.
Like with the PS2, there was a lot more exploring just ideas and concepts and stuff.
I could see
and
that.
With the
like
Wii, it's
Katamari.
just like people will buy anything. Let's just put whatever.
It's true. I too was a bad Wii buyer. It was like the third Wii game we got. It was New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I got it pre-ordered. That was a mistake because not pre-ordered. I got it pre-owned. Yeah. And that was a mistake because for $5 less, the disc was scratched and we can't play Mario Wii. But I was like, 30 great games when are fun. That looks so fun. Look, you could play as a bear. And I never got to unlock the bear because those games are impossible. Just play Mario and Sonic if you want good winter games. discount of Mario and Sonic before the Vancouver games were even out.
Yeah, we all been duped like that, you know.
We've
just
all been duped.
There's just so many.
What is a time where you've been duped, but you actually found a good game in like the trash?
Lion King 1.5.
I mean, that one's just surprisingly good. A lot of games on the GBA are surprisingly okay. Like the Danny Phantom one is actually a solid beat 'em
I
up.
liked the Incredibles one. I don't know if
it was better on GameCube than it was on Game Boy Advance.
The Finding Nemo one was trash. There's just some movies that aren't meant to be games. Like Wreck-It Ralph could have been great as a game, but they screwed that one up so hard.
They messed it up. How could you mess it up? So
it's like they literally handed it to you on a platter and you still screwed it up.
Could have just made it a minigame collection of all the arcade games. Like you could, although that would require a bunch of different engines and play styles.
And
like when you play Sugar Rush, it's suddenly a racer. When you're playing Wreck-It Ralph, it's suddenly 2D. When you're playing
that would require
2D,
like effort and budget. And we don't. Disney don't do stuff like that.
Disney, what was its game division? Epic Games, or is it Studio Maker? They used to have a video games division. Yeah, Junction Point. Yeah, at that point, all the energy was going into Epic Mickey, and they're like,
we're tired of video games. We want to do
bored.
Apps. We want money.
We're bored.
We're gearing up for Disney Plus.
I'm half glad that apps have taken over the trash video game market because it means there's less physical evidence of terrible games for people to play. At the same time, the digital era, it's really easy to lose digital games, like old Flash games that would be connected to movies or TV shows. A lot of those are gone. What was your favorite one, Peach? It was a Lilo and Stitch one.
Oh, 625 Sandwich Stacker. I loved that one. I used to play it all the time.
Just stacked a sandwich together.
It was like a giant sandwich. And like the more sandwich you got, the more points it would be. And you would try to get the good ingredients because there's also like trash ingredients like bird poop or rotten eggs or something.
Funny how you mentioned bird poop first.
We're not mentioning the bird poop. Shh. It didn't happen.
I think it's funny that you think it's your fault that there's bird poop on your car.
I just washed my car and it's like covered.
Birds are jerks.
I know.
They can't. You know,
I thought they all went south for the winter. Dang it!
They can't control their bladders.
I know, but like, did they all have to poop on the one side of my car?
The one side of the car.
I tried to get the scraper and scrape it off, and it's just like
Did
welded
you park
on
under
there.
the tree again?
Apparently, I was like to the side of the tree, and it was apparently close enough.
You were too close to the tree. You were an angle shot of the poop in the bird butt. Anyways, with that out of the way, hello and welcome to the Supershow Saga with me, Delfino Durians. I'm not Peach Supreme, I'm Delfino Durians.
And me, Peach Supreme.
She's totally Peach Supreme, I promise. And we're welcoming back a former guest on the show.
Ahoy! Oi!
Hoi!
The wheeze is very fitting, Hans.
It was very fitting. Good job. So, Hans, you're an active engager in our videos. Thank you so much. But you seem, from the general outlook of the show, you seem to have a more positive outlook on the show than what Peach is falling into. Where it'd be like, yeah, it's terrible, but you know, I think this is the best episode we got. And it's like, wow, that is surprising.
I don't know. I've been having fun mostly.
I got caught up actually.
That's okay.
And let me tell you, okay? No, the show's going downhill. It's going downhill.
We've hit the top, but Mama Luigi.
We'll see with that one. I mean, I've only seen up to episode
bottom
8.
And then we jump straight back up. We find ourselves an invincibility star and jump right up for Mama Luigi.
I feel like it's more you dig a tunnel and suddenly you strike oil. At the very end, you strike oil. But before that, you have to dig through all the crude soil.
Yeah, because
Trash.
whoa, boy!
Oh boy.
I think
Oh
this is the
my
worst
God.
episode yet.
Oh, you agree? You know, I said that, and Delfino's like, "You're being too harsh," and I'm like, "But it's the worst one."
I mean,
we haven't recorded it and it hasn't gone live yet, but after this episode airs, we'll have aired King Scoopa Koopa, and that is an episode that completely loses its brain.
Yo, that episode's just pure insanity, and I can't help but marvel at it like a car crash.
That episode is cutting the head off the chicken and watching it go. It is
You know,
absolutely insane.
It's just like slow motion, like videos of people like getting whacked in the face in slow motion. You're like, oh, it's so gross, but wow, that's interesting.
okay.
What are you saying though?
I did see the episode. I will just say this. It's bad. It is
Yes.
really fucking awful, but at least it had, a point.
At least it was
did.
interesting.
It had a coherent idea. I think the whole problem. We might get
At least
into
it wasn't
talk about the
reusing an
episode.
idea that we already used.
That's true. Oh, I see what you mean.
Wink.
Wink,
And that we
wink.
are going to use again. Because, gosh darn it, that's the only thing you can do with cave people.
Is to pretend how dumb and
They're so dumb.
obsessive they are. There's a lot going on in this episode. So the episode we are referring to is called Party Line because it's
Party line.
It's Party Line.
You know, at first I didn't get what it was referring to, but it's
Party time.
What year was it? No, that's not it.
Party time.
At one point they talk about it in the episode, but it's back in the olden days when we had rotary phones.
Like 100 years ago or so?
No. I'd say like the
80s,
60s. That
So
era. It was back when, in order to make a call, you had to pick up your phone, dial the little dial, which was like a little circle, and you had to dial the operator. And so the operator would like put their cord in the operator box and be like, "Hello, this is the operator. Who do you want to talk to?" And they'd be like, "I want to talk to this person." And then they'd move the cord over to let you talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you wanted to talk to multiple people at the same time, it was called a party line.
Oh, so how would a party line work? Because you could only connect directly from one to the other.
Oh, apparently Dad says that's not true.
Oh, okay. That's not how old phones work. Now you are the goof who does not know.
What is true, Dad?
Had to share the same phone line on a line. So multiple houses had to share the same phone line, and the difference between the rings on the phone. So one person would have like one ring, they would know to pick up the phone. The next house would listen for two rings, they would pick up the phone when it rang twice. So only one person could be on the phone at a time. If you were on a party line with 10 people, you had to wait your turn before you could talk on a phone.
Okay. And this was my dad's explanation of a party line.
We're learning!
Learning!
Oh my gosh. I mean, I know what rotary phones are because as opposed
We have one.
to... Yeah, we do. It's like
for
the emergency one.
because it works when the power goes out, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
But we use it. It's not like an Ellen when they present one to a millennial and say, "How does this work?" And they're like, "Huh?" I don't know if that's for show or not, but I'm aware of what they are. And this,
You don't have to say your full age, Hans, but like, are you old enough that you used to have like a landline?
Thanks. No. Yes.
I was wondering if you were older than me.
okay.
But like,
Just
yeah,
don't know.
cell phones
I
were
was
kind of
born
like
mid 90s.
I'm born in the mid-90s as well.
Okay.
We still have a
It's like-
landline in the house.
That's like,
That's
I
where all
remember
the
the
spam
time
calls
where you
go.
couldn't you couldn't talk on the phone and be on the internet at the same time. Like that's
Yep.
how it used to be.
I love that
Good
fact
old
of life
dial-up.
because it used to be. I remember for the first Disney Channel movie, that was like an active plot point, was the kid loved to look online for lotteries to do, and his dad was like, kid, you gotta stop doing it. Not because it's a bad addictive behavior, but because I want to be on the phone and call my new girlfriend. And then he'd be like, Dad, you can't get over mom, blah, blah, blah. But that was an active plot point. The being you can't be on the internet and dial up at the same time.
So is that like, why, by the way, the whole like, is that why like, Peach is like Mario and you're like Luigi, Delfino?
Maybe so. I'm the one having to hook all the cords together.
Since like older and younger sib.
We are older and younger siblings. It's true though. But I was gonna say something, but I forgot. This episode also it kind of it reminded me of Bye Bye Birdie.
Oh yeah, I made a note about that.
When everyone's calling each other.
Well, it's the big part of Bye Bye Birdie. The opening scene is called Telephone Hour, where they're all talking on the phone to each other.
How does that song go again? Hey, Jen.
Hey, Teddy. Hey,
There it is.
Alan. What's the story? Morning glory. What's the word? Hummingbird. Have you heard about Travis and Kim?
There we go.
It's the best part of that play. Like,
Is
I
it-
had to do
it's
that
the
play in
best.
high school. It sucked.
You had a
Just
bad
because-
experience
Not
with
just
that
because
one.
it's not the best musical, but also because, like, we had a jerk guy playing Conrad Birdie, which he's already a jerk character in the show.
Yeah,
But like
Chevy
the guy
Chase.
playing him had the biggest ego, and we all hated him.
It was as big as his pompadour.
Mm-hmm.
Did he have a pompadour in the show? I don't remember.
Well, he's supposed to be like kind of like Elvis-y. I don't know.
Okay, I just remember Ed Sullivan.
I don't know. I'll probably get some flack for this, but it's like along the lines of like that one and Grease. Like those are just like classic musicals that I can't stand.
What about West Side Story? Is that a classical
I'm not
one?
as familiar with West Side Story, but yeah, that is a
Okay.
classic musical.
Our mom's all about it. Got a new
Well, that's
movie, and
because
she's like,
the
"I
new
need
movie
to
just came
talk."
out.
Apparently, it's a good one. It's very surprising because most musical movies are bad.
Most musical movies are cats.
They're jellicle cats.
Oh God.
Hans, would you say you have a favorite musical?
Trying to think. If just a few I like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to. I kind of like Wicked. It's like I saw that
Wicked?
live. Yeah. I
Multiple
enjoyed the
choice.
Lion King one.
Oh yeah,
The Lion King musical is really good.
You went to that when you were tiny, though.
Mm-hmm.
I hear it doesn't
Well,
help.
I remember it.
when you're older.
Like the costume design is fantastic. Like I'd rather watch that
Yeah.
a million times versus the stupid live action crap one.
Would you rather watch that or Lion King 1.5?
Well, I'd rather watch The Lion King 1.5 any day because I love The Lion King 1.5. I could quote that movie
my issue-
backwards and forwards.
My issue with like the remake is not so much how it looks, to be honest.
It's just boring.
I mean, and Matt, I'll get yeah, there's that, but like, because I think it's like a nice like tech demo of like how well they just make these animals look pretty convincing, almost. But it's just like just like how condescending it was, like the ending. It's like when they show like Scar is like, "I killed your father, Simba," and he just shows flashbacks like, "Motherfucker, we know."
Yeah, got it. Okay. They're like, we're gonna fix the Lion King. It's like, no, it's really fine.
Did it need to be fixed?
It didn't really.
I was actually kind of hoping like, because I was like, I'm not like charmed by the Lion King. I would like to see like a more serious and complex take on it. I guess I should watch Hamlet then, but because I thought that's gonna be the case with the live action movie, because it's like how all realistic and more gritty it's gonna be.
Well, if
but
they
it's
wanted to
more
make it
like
that,
the
they should have
original,
taken out the comic relief and the songs.
I guess you could have a little comedy. Maybe put more meaning to sort of Timon and Pumbaa's like parenting
Gay
with
getaway.
Simba. Yeah, you know.
I mean, the whole point of the Hakuna Matata scene is that we've traumatized all these kids, and now we're like, okay, fun music number, ha ha, your dad just
You can
died.
just give up on life
But
over
Hakuna
here for
Matata!
10 years.
Maybe they
Live
should
a
not
wonderful life.
Maybe they shouldn't make it a musical. I'm sorry.
But I mean, musicals can be serious.
Yeah, but if you haven't seen the musical version of The Lion King, like, it's actually really well done.
Like
Yeah.
Fiddler on the Roof is a pretty serious musical. It's got
Yeah.
fun songs in it, but it's also about
Yeah,
the thing. I'd say my favorite musical overall in movie form would be Mary Poppins.
No, I love
Between
Mary Poppins.
on Broadway and on movie, it'd be Singing in the Rain, because that dancing, those songs, I love it all. But I'd say my favorite musical that I'll just see anybody do is Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh,
Because
I
I love to
Little Shop of
see
Horrors.
how everyone interprets Audrey 2, how they do the puppet. Do they build a puppet? Sometimes they'll go for shadow work instead of a puppet. And it's like, it's open to interpretation what you can do with it. And it's a very sarcastic
I really
musical.
wish they'd make a nice animated version of Little Shop of Horrors.
You can't beat that movie, though, with the Jim
I mean, it's
Henson
a great
puppets.
movie.
You can't beat the voice. What are we going to do without the Audrey 2 voice from the movies?
Like, I'm not saying that they should modernize it, but
yeah,
it is a very 50s movie.
You could do a different interpretation of it.
So I think if they did a different interpretation of it and did it animated and like I don't know, like a really cool sequence for like supper time or Feed Me Seymour, like
Where we see Audrey 2 digest the people.
I don't know. I guess I'm imagining something like in The Princess and the Frog with the voodoo man scene.
Oh yeah, those
like something like that would be super cool. I've thought about this before.
I've had it in my brain.
In my bean. Anyway.
In your bean.
I guess we should start talking about this stupid episode.
We gotta talk about what's in everyone else's beans, which is to say nothing. So I want to talk about the writers for this episode. Because this is actually, I looked into this and it's like, ooh, there's actually some insight to be gained when you look at the writers. So it was written by Phil Harnage and Frank Ridgway, which Frank Ridgway sounds like a fake racer name. And up on the corner in car 10, it's Frank Ridgway.
It took 2 people to make this disaster piece.
It did. So
I feel like Phil Harnage just took his script from the Wheel Thing episode and gave it to Frank and said, "Here, just do this, but with phones."
It wasn't even his script for that one.
Didn't he write like a synopsis for every episode?
Well, yeah, so you know our episode's on, but to recap, Phil Harnage created a overview for every single episode, and he passed off the episodes to different people to figure out, just write anything you want. So
I have a theory about that.
Okay, let's hear your theory.
Well, I think the reason why they did it like that is because they were like rushed to hell.
Oh yeah.
Because, like, you know, they're trying to... Because I did some research. The show came out a month after the American release of the game. So I have a feeling Nintendo, like, rushed them to really make these episodes out. To
I don't even think it was Nintendo that did that. Because Nintendo in this era was pretty hands-off. I feel like it was Deke Animation that was like,
we gotta capitalize! Capitalize!
I think it's also just because, I mean, it could also be the case, you know.
Maybe
Nintendo was hands off, but but Nintendo, I think Nintendo was also pretty pushy with, like, I think not solely, but I think they were responsible to how, like, the CDI games came out, like, because the CDI games were both, the Zelda ones anyway, were pretty rushed too.
Oh yeah, they were funded by the one animator in Russia.
Yeah.
One voiced by 2 people.
A man and a woman.
That's all we needed. But I see what you mean. This was the era of rushing animations to fit for timeliness.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it was an in-studio rushing it. I don't mean to completely make Nintendo defense blameless, but it was probably more Deke breathing down the necks than it was Nintendo executives.
Because I mean,
Yeah, and that's possible.
if you look at other Deke shows that were coming out around the time, it's all like that, like Inspector Gadget,
Crank the machine.
I can't even remember other ones. Just Inspector
Captain
Gadget.
Planet.
Captain Planet. Captain and the Game Master.
Captain N? Sorry for Planet? Like I thought that was like Time Warner.
It might have been I say that because a lot of the writers who write for Mario kind of moved over to work on Captain N too. Just
Captain N. Yeah. I thought it was like
no, I did mean Captain Planet. Shoot,
you meant to say Captain N, but you said Captain Planet.
Too many captains.
Captain Underpants. What?
Captain Underpants. This was before Sabrina. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the shows that they did. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was after this.
Yes. But speaking of Sonic, I think if Nintendo was involved with this, which it's likely they weren't, but if Nintendo were involved, I mean, there's also the time when competition against Sega was really intense. So.
It was. Ooh, the steam in that room. The tension. Cut it with a knife. That's what I was looking for. Bill and Ted, Where's Waldo? Yeah, they were just producing
Earthworm Jim.
a dozen shows a year. The production slowly slowed down.
That weird Bubsy show that had
that was just a pilot.
Rob
Madeline,
Paulson.
Double Dragon, Street Sharks.
Oh god, the Double Dragon show was awful.
Carmen San Diego.
Street Sharks.
I didn't even know there was a Double Dragon show.
Oh,
it is bad.
I think this was also
I think they talked about it. There was an episode of What Happened when they're talking about the Double Dragon movie, and they lightly touched upon the cartoon and how horrible it is.
Yep.
Darkstalkers.
And that level of quality you're talking about is very much present in the first seconds in the episode, 18 seconds after the intro. Dinosaur just materialized in existence.
Okay,
I do want to talk about first morning constitutional. Before
we talk about that very important morning constitution, I'm sorry, we got off track. Phil Harnage. Okay, we've known that he has a lot of baggage, especially after that Scoopa Koopa episode.
Oh
my goodness, that episode is like, are you okay?
He needs some help.
I think Phil needs to go see a therapist. But I also want to talk about Frank. Which, when I looked up his IMDb, he had the very curious information, because writers don't put their info into IMDb, but they have his birth and death date in IMDb.
Oh, wow.
So, when Frank wrote this, he actually didn't even write a lot. He was the main art director for Mario 3 and the art department for Saturday Supercade, but he was approximately 60 to 61 when he wrote this episode. And he died 3 years later.
The cartoon killed him.
This was his last thing he ever worked on in cartoons.
It's almost sad.
And it's like,
yeah.
Oh. But when I go in with the mindset that Phil Harnage is kind of supervising while Frank writes the entire episode, a 60-year-old man writing an episode for kids, a lot of things make more sense.
That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think I think we should probably say this, to be fair. Yeah, they were working with a very
given Mario in this episode,
experimental system for the writing, as you two mentioned multiple times. So.
Oh yeah, it's that they'd be like, "Here's your idea, now go to the script." Who
else would write an entire episode about an outdated phone system?
What's the deal with airlines?
What's the deal with airplane food?
What's the deal with that?
All these kids on their dang phones.
What's the deal with the party line?
Quit bitching, your brothers.
Mr. Ridgway, phones haven't been on landline since 1972.
We have cell phones now, these giant blocky cell phones. We have
big brick phones, the mobile. What? You taking the phone with you in the car?
That's making me think of Detective Conan.
I am pulling my leg, Kramer!
There's a couple episodes where, like, oh, he has a
I'm just thinking of
cellular
Jerry
phone,
Seinfeld
and
now.
it's this, like, giant brick thing.
I think it's funny when cartoons, because Clarence will do that, where they don't want to date themselves. So if people are carrying phones, they're giant Lego brick phones. But sometimes it'll be of an actual moment in time. I think Rugrats, Angelica's mom, Charlotte Pickles, would carry around a big brick phone, talking to her.
Well, it's because cell
little
phones,
assistant.
they started in the 90s, but, like, they didn't get popularized until the 2000s.
Yeah, until they became compact. You could text
So it
with
was
them.
just, like,
Yeah,
business people
that's
would have
normal
cell phones.
technology.
Okay, it'd be like was it before the pager or was it an
Like,
evolution of the pager?
I guess it was similar to that.
Like,
Like, yeah, like old cell phones, like they were not like they didn't. I don't think they were really like just mostly used by business, people around that point. So they didn't really become like
it was
they
more
didn't,
like
start
a rare thing for someone to have a cell phone.
the whole it was like to like the late '90s where we're starting to see more and more people starting to use them. And of course, now here we are.
Definite 2000s, and now they're connected to us like an umbilical cord. I'm guilty of it.
Me too.
I try to do better with that, my
I
phone.
do too. I don't know. I've taken the steps to get away from it. Like my first rule of thumb is no social media on my phone. So no Tumblr, no Twitter, no Facebook, no YouTube, which in the end is just nothing because then I just go to youtube.com through the Safari and I just experience YouTube through there. So
I'm honestly just scared to use like Twitter and like YouTube in public. I think at most I'll just probably use is like fucking like Discord.
yeah, and I also don't have Discord on my phone because before I'd hear the beep and it'd be like I don't know, it would just
disable it.
Beep check.
beep check. It'd be like when mom snaps at us, I just enter an alert state, like what's going on? What's going on? It's like I gotta calm down. I gotta put this away. So I use desktop mainly for stuff, which helps. At this point, most of my phone time goes for mobile games that I have left over, and also taking pictures of other people's animals because we don't have any animals. It's so sad. You want to see a cat or a dog?
Cat, obviously.
I'm asking Hans. Hans, do you want to see a
fine.
cat or a dog?
Dog.
Okay. Here is dog. Their name is Roxy.
That's a cute dog.
They are Little Miss Troublemaker.
Show Bentley.
Oh, yes. Okay. Here's the Bentley.
Bentley.
That's
He's a
cute
little
cat.
puppy.
That's a
He's
cute
so
dog.
bad.
Trust me.
He-
I know you viewers on YouTube can't see it, but they are indeed cute animals.
I will put I'll put their pictures in the, I'll put them in the video on YouTube, so you should watch it on YouTube. Here's another picture of him.
Oh.
See? I told y'all you can trust me. The old
Yum,
squid
yum.
elf on the shelf.
Beat that. Oh, and then here's our cousin's dog, Jade. Or is it Jace?
Jace.
Jace. She's great. She's just like paper me, please, beagle. Absolutely adorable. Anyways, so we do have to get into the episode now that I've clarified that this episode was written by a cranky old man and an overworked Deke employee, Phil Hartage. So we are on our morning constitutional for the first time.
How? I guess we've just been so busy or something in Dinosaur World that we haven't had time for morning constitutionals.
We haven't had the time to relax, but there really is no time to relax
We
when you're in
found out
Dinosaur World.
that there's why they haven't been taking morning constitutionals is because you get mugged by dinos every 5 seconds.
The danger levels are very high.
You literally can't walk around your house without getting mugged by a random dinosaur.
Yeah,
You can die at any time. It's bad for your health.
It's hazardous to your health.
You heard of Cyberpunk. This is Dinopunk.
Dino Punk. Ooh. So they're just thinking, man, no one really knows about this either. People are like pretty disconnected. It's like, dang, this isn't working. So
it's kind of weird. Like the whole premise of this show, it's just kind of like the cave people are living their lives and Mario and Luigi are just kind of like observing them.
It very much is. You could take and
then
indigenous
occasionally
angle.
they decide to interfere, but it's like, no.
Oh yeah.
We just gotta let the evolution happen, Mario. You can't push it. The
Yeah,
cave
I'm gonna
people
talk
are
about that.
the cave
whole
people
thing.
are just too stupid to live.
Like, if you take the racial angle to the show, it's just super
Awkward.
awkward and derogatory towards like indigenous Neanderthals or indigenous, not modern, like not current
It's like,
people.
look, they've got their own way to
thing is-
live, and if their way to live involves them falling down pits and hitting their head on trees, then that's just how it's gonna be.
It's obvious, like they're trying to avoid like the whole
They've gotta
civilized
live.
the
It's
savages
like-
angle,
Yeah,
which is understandable.
the
but
white,
still,
the white
yeah.
save, the white plumber comes to save all.
I hate that kind of thing.
It's
It's
insanely
like
outdated.
with Bentley, it's like he's got to get smacked around by the cats because he's got to learn that the cats don't want to play like a puppy does.
Although Bentley hasn't been learning, he's got no bean. His bean's too small.
He'll learn eventually. It's just gonna take a bit. I mean, he did learn that if he sits on my lap with a chew toy, I will stick the chew toy in his mouth because I don't want him to bite my arm. So he would drag the toy over and sit in my lap, and it was adorable.
Aww. Anywho, as we're talking about all the danger that could happen to us,
Yoshi's
like, on
got
purpose,
a boo-boo!
Yoshi takes the fall! Chicumba! Yoshi fall!
Yoshi
And,
have
like,
boo-boo!
Peach is like on the prerogative, you know.
She's the medic. She just runs in and it's like, tell me where it hurts.
I'll
And he's
fix your dinosaur!
It makes me wonder if like she has also has like the third eye like Daisy has in the back of her head.
She's always on the lookout.
Yeah.
Maybe she heard someone crying.
As much as people get hurt, like she's just like, all right, I've invented these band-aids. We're gonna at least put band-aids on the situation.
There's 4 sizes: small, medium, large, dinosaur.
And dinosaur.
That is an odd joke. I'm just gonna say that right now. And that's the first of many.
Dino.
There's a lot of dad jokes in this episode.
I mean, like the pun afterwards.
It's written by 2 dads.
Like, okay, the pun afterwards. Okay, it's awful. I get
the
that, but like
dinosaur.
that just the previous one just was not funny. Not even
It feels
funny.
like Mario makes the joke and he just goes and then everybody's like, let's just ignore him.
Stage.
Nothing. So Luigi pines to himself. It would be really nice if we had an emergency number to call. But would the emergency number really help you avoid tripping, or are they saying they would want an emergency number to alert someone to aid them?
Number,
I just want to say, for now,
I mean,
we need
Peach
to put
right there
a pin in
with
it.
Band-Aid.
We need to put a pin in it.
Okay. About what
We
the
do,
emergency
because they
number
mentioned-
shall do.
They mentioned the emergency number again later, and I have a note about it then, so.
Okay.
But unfortunately, there's no time to think about emergency numbers because we're attacked by Barneyzilla.
Yeah.
I called this Susie Zilla myself.
I just straight up call him Barney.
Barney. Okay, I'm outnumbered. Barney it
Hey,
is.
we gotta tie in the cover somehow.
There you go.
And
Barney. So everyone is like, look,
Truly
there's
maroon
Barney!
is a great color for a dinosaur.
It's not very realistic, but it's a fun color.
I will say in this show, they sure like to insult people right to their face.
They just keep
Yeah,
ogling at the dinosaur.
They're like,
and
oh
they're
my
Yeah, they
god,
forgot
there's a
it's an
big,
animated
ugly,
show.
giant dinosaur that's going to eat us all because he looks stupid.
and ugly.
I mean, but also to be fair, the Rexes are purple.
It's like it happened with the dinosaur, it's happened with Koopa, it happened with Weisenheimer. It's like, geez, no wonder everybody's attacking you, Mario.
You're just asking for hits. Mario's got targets on his back.
Yeah, move! You got
So
5 seconds on the
in a
clock!
very clever play on words, Luigi was just talking about calling an emergency number. And so when trouble starts, Yoshi starts running around going, emergency number! Emergency number!
I didn't even get that until the second watch. I'm like, oh, he's calling the emergency
He's calling
number.
the emergency number.
Wow.
And like, okay, that's cute.
That's a good
Okay.
Of course, then this turns into a PSA.
So then Yoshi,
It's like it feels like Mario is sitting down to explain to Yoshi what an emergency number is. So I'm like, what is this, an ad?
I noticed that the way that he phrased to call, I was like, this sounds like a drug thing. Call your priests, your rabbis, your mums, your pops, your dads, whoever.
You'll go to hell before you die!
Because if you don't call someone, you're gonna die. Please.
Or like the "It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?" ad that used to play at night.
I don't even remember that one.
They
That
talked
was
about it
past
on
my
Game
time.
Grumps.
Oh, I know that one.
I
It's
love
where
that story.
Danny's dad went, I've got the good son.
And Danny just went, I'm a loser. So
Good
poor
old
Yoshi is having a rough day.
He's having such a rough time. He
Because
starts
not only
crying.
has he tripped
Yeah.
over the block, he ran into a tree, and then a coconut fell on his head, and he's got a cocoa boo-boo.
And he just
And
starts
ammonium.
crying. And I'm like, this is just
Poor
sad.
Yoshi. He needs a hug.
Oh, it's
Toadstool
also
should have put a kiss on his boo-boo.
I also like how at this time Mario is trying to explain the concept of sound to Yoshi. He's like, it's when
And Yoshi's
sound
eyes are
reverberates
just
through the
crossing into
air.
his head. I think he's got like a little concussion. It's like, Mario, this is not the
no.
time.
So he's talking like the
Mario.
point where he eats like the coconuts and like starts making that phone.
Well, that's what happens next. So
I would have thought
Mario's
the coconut
like,
would have made him think of like a horse galloping noise.
but no. So mentally and physically, Yoshi's just having a tough day. But Mario's trying to figure out a way to solve this. So he's like,
Coconut.
they're kind
Coconut.
of round. And he's like, okay, I think I have an idea. So he gets the rudimentary phone, which I've never understood how this works. How does
It works
the
better
sound...
with the can. It's
Okay,
that
where it's
the sound
metal?
waves travel. If you keep a line really taut between two cans, the sound waves will reverberate.
That's what I was
through
asking
it.
about. Is that it would need to be really tight to like conduct.
And it's true.
waves.
So it's that he gets the coconut, sticks a vine to it, and then pulls the string really tight, and he gives it to Luigi. He's like, all right, Luigi, we're going to test out this phone, even though we're standing right next to each other, and we can
Standing like 20 feet apart.
even though we can
Yeah.
totally hear each other from where we're standing, we're going to try to make this phone. And I swear, Luigi has so many good lines in this episode.
Luigi's really good.
He's
Also,
just
Maybe
the
some good
eternal
lines,
straight
but
man in this
I feel
episode.
like I think we should. I think there's something wrong with him, with his brain.
It's
But I have to
true.
mention, like, the thing is, but there's also something wrong with Mario's brain because, like, he's like, Luigi asks, like, I don't like coconuts, and Mario's like, because the melons all drip in your ear. But like, he didn't bring up melons, Mario.
Melons are too juicy.
They're too juicy. Which aren't
But
coconuts.
coconut,
It's
yes.
weird. Coconuts
Taste
are also
that coconut
juicy.
milk.
They're
Yeah!
also fruit. It's
I
not
put
like
it
you
somewhere in
dried
as well.
the coconut first.
Maybe they mean the shell. Like with
I don't know.
fruits don't really have a shell to them. They have an outside layer, but it's still as juicy as
Still,
the
you'd have to like scrape out the coconut juice first before you did this, but whatever, it's fine.
Well,
It's a TV show.
oh,
It's a cartoon.
So
whatever.
Mario sets up his little phone. He's like, hello, paging Luigi. Hello,
Paging
Luigi.
Luigi.
Can you hear me? And he's like, sorry, Mario, I got a coconut in my ear.
No, I have a coconut in my ear.
So that's one of the few times in this episode I actually laughed.
It was a good line. And he's
It
like,
was funny.
Luigi, why don't you talk into it and then I'll listen? And he's like, okay, do you hear me?
Hello?
I'm
You
talking
hear
with
me
a
calling Mario.
computer voice. Now, for some reason, my voice has sounded like it's turned into a tin can. Can you hear me?
And so Mario's just so excited. He throws the phone on the ground. He starts dancing. It's like, all right, well, now the phone is broken. And I love Luigi's next line where he keeps trying to talk to Mario, who is now not on the phone. He's like, "Oh, he put me on hold."
He throws the phone down.
It's great.
Yeah, Luigi's not well in this episode.
I don't know.
I don't think anybody's well in this episode.
I mean, but you'll see.
What kind of
I just like
fumes are we
how he
running
calls
on?
him Alexander Graham Mario.
Which adds further credence to the theory that Mario is the last name.
True.
If he's Alexander Graham Mario, because Graham Bell was the last
Well,
name.
later on, he gets called Mario da Vinci, so...
That I know it gets neutralized, thrown right out the window. But dang it, we had a little something there.
I just love how he's spinning Luigi around and clipping through the floor. He's like, "I'm
He
so happy."
is.
Yeah.
He's just dancing such a joyous dance because he's reinvented the telephone. And this is where we get to this being almost exactly like the wheel thing. Although it really only turns like the wheel thing in concept alone, because its execution, I feel, is different enough to warrant.
Unlike with the wheel thing, where it's that they invent the wheel, it goes crazy, and then they all have to team up.
People
to beat
use it
Koopa.
wrong. Because
Koopa's using his idea. Instead, this is all on Mario.
This is 100% Mario. What's saying, Hans?
I should say, by the way, Mario didn't reinvent the phone, he just built the phone.
Yeah. He's just reintroduced the phone, would have been a better choice of words.
Stole that idea. So the first thing we're going to build is a payphone, because capitalism.
Isn't it great, Luigi? We can charge people for money to call for help!
Even though the phones inside are free, but we'll get to that.
Well, there's a whole thing with that.
Well, you know.
I think there were some gorilla phones being made there. Also, we want to apply, there's no sense of how long this has gone on for. I'm assuming this all takes place
all of a sudden,
in one
everybody's
day.
got phone lines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this just looks like a fire hazard.
It's exactly what it was like.
I said
it.
I made
everything
a
will
note
catch
to
on
it,
fire.
and then the show commented on it. It's that the lines are just polluting. It's less noise pollution, and it's not air pollution because those are two different things.
It's vine pollution.
No, this is space pollution, where a matter of space is taken up with garbage. That garbage being all these lines. You say it, Hans.
The thing is, I'm glad you brought up it being a fire hazard, Peach. Do you ever play Powder Game back in the day?
Pattern game?
Powder Game.
Powder game.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, because man, sorry, this reminds me because like because you know falling sand, like it's a game where it's like it's a Java thing where sand falls, water falls, salt falls, oil.
Oh, is it like a physics game?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's like variants of it, like Powder Game, Powder Toy, and one of them it's like being much like Powder Game was the one I played a lot back in high school, and man, the when vines there's vine and there's fire, and when the vines get on fire, it's a pain in the butt to get it extinguished.
It's a party. It sounds like Little Inferno, where
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
The goal of that game is just to burn stuff in the fire, and then eventually you burn your house down.
That game's sad.
It's a very interesting game.
I see what you mean. It's like a physics sandbox. Like, what happens when things weigh this much and then this happens? But no, I never toyed around with those stuff much. I did for one. I did know one. It was... I hope I still have it in my bookmarks. Yeah, I do. It's Meow
Mario,
by Coco. That's a good game.
So Mario's really excited about these phones. He's like, now everyone can call for help when they need it. Like if they trip over... Only for emergency purposes, like if they trip over one of these vines that are everywhere.
We've created the hazard for people to use the product. I don't even think that's an oops because they're charging money for it. It's a whole system.
Luigi has a very weird line here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So he says something along the lines of, I hope they don't decide to reach out and touch someone at the same time.
Luigi
Oh,
left
no.
out 2 crucial words here, which is get in touch. But he's like, I hope people don't start touching each other at the same time because Mario, polygamy is illegal. We don't allow that. And this just allows more time for people to get in touch with each other. Say it!
In this cartoon, Luigi does strike me as the sex negative type, and Mario is the sex positive type. It's turning Mario just made a tossing salad joke an episode prior.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Wait,
my
is
God.
toss a salad a euphemism for something?
Yes.
Yes. I think it's for...
That's it. I've had enough.
Gonna toss my salad.
I've never known that.
Well, hey, he invented the toss salad.
He invented the bare ass.
Man, he's going on like Donkey Kong, if you know what I'm saying.
Making Donkey Kong.
With everybody's booties in this show. Like, I think I paused it earlier.
Yeah,
when they're getting mugged by the
moment.
dinosaur. It's like Mario and Luigi's butts are sticking out, and Yoshi's like, wow! I'm just like, every frame. I swear.
Everyone's got that big booty, but
everyone
Luigi's
is bootylicious.
It was looking more like a plastic surgery booty. It's looking more like a triangle. And Mario is just more like a natural booty. Because the true case to booty is that the key to a good booty is it needs to also have some thigh/leg region too. If it's just the booty, it's fake. Booty expert.
Don't booty shame Luigi, okay? Look, this is why Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the greatest game of all time. We finally got the dream match against Luigi against Bayonetta.
Booty against booty. Wait, what about Solid Snake? Didn't his get booty?
Too. Yeah, he had the booty too.
But he got the Hank Hill booty in the Ultimate.
Yeah,
we have to
they toned down his booty.
Okay. In fairness, that Smash Ultimate did, Hank Hill ass everybody, but there is Smash 4. There is Smash 4.
Smash 4 has full booty opportunities.
Full booty action.
Prime booty. Anyways.
So, Princess Toadstool has accepted the ladies' job of phone operator.
Like a woman's supposed to do. Am I right, man? I said, am I right, ladies?
Oh, no.
It is true. She has to do
like,
that.
Truly, an old man wrote this episode.
Secretary. Girls gotta be in the kitchen.
At least they didn't shove it on
unintentional.
Luigi again this time.
I think it was completely unintentional. It was just a matter of in the main cast, it could have been Luigi, but if Luigi was walking around with Mario, doing, whatever stuff, then really the only person left that has a competent brain.
I mean, they're not going to trust Yoshi with these phone lines.
Yeah, Yoshi will eat the phone lines, so it's up to Toadstool, the woman.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Yoshi,
I wonder if it's I wonder if it's a subconscious thing as well, because that's a famous imagery of that phone line thing, where it was mostly women. I think it's mostly because, fortunately misogyny, but also because World War I or something like that.
The reason for the women was because of
World War II
drafting. Yeah, all the men were drafted, so all the women got those kinds of jobs. And then when the men came back, they're like, all right, we want the jobs back. And the ladies were like, oh, but we actually like working.
We like being autonomous and having money. And they're like, okay, you can, we'll make up this phone service job, whatever, do that. And that's where a lot of learning got shifted into. What do you think?
I think back in World War One, I could be wrong on this. I think, my great-grandfather who fought for the Germans, I think he did a little bit of that. He was a soldier, but I think he did help with I think he was involved with the phone operating thing, but I could be wrong on that. I just thought it was,
That's okay. Also, our grandpappy, he was between wars, and he just went around. He was like the bodyguard for the priest that would come to visit different army sites. It was very cool. And he met my grandma in the war because she applied to be a nurse, and she was 16, and he was 20. 18?
He got to work with one of the first computers back when it was the entire room was a computer.
What?
That's very interesting. That's
cool.
amazing.
Good old Papa. Anyways.
I have to agree with Yoshi here. This idea is
Phone
incredibly
service.
stupid.
Before we do that, I really like Toadstool's phone service voice. Hello, you've reached the vine.
Hello, you've reached the
Peanut.
vine. Connecting you to the next line.
She's gonna do all that.
It is great. So it's like Uktar calls Yoshi, who's like standing right next to him, and he's like, Yoshi, can you hear me? And he's like, of course I can hear you. We're standing right next to each other. This is so dumb.
And he throws the phone on the floor again. But everyone's so excited because they can now talk to each other over the phone when they're right next to each other.
So yeah, this is the bit that reminds me of Telephone Hour from Bite by Birdie.
Okay, where instead of
like
going to people's houses, they would call each other next door neighbors.
Makes me think of there's an episode of Sonic Boom where they do a spoof on Telephone Hour. And like it feels like that scene would slot really well into this section. But instead it's just booga booga ooga ooga wah wah wah.
Yeah.
Even
Double,
the baby in the
double.
crib is talking on the phone.
Even babies have phones. What is this country coming to, Pete?
The thing is, though, that's the one thing that got me to chuckle in this episode was when the baby answered.
The creepy
How old
child.
do kids have to be that we give them phones? On a side note, how old do you think kids should be with a phone?
That is a good
I'd say
question.
middle school. Because I mean that's when I got a
think
phone.
so too. I don't know.
I think there needs to be restrictions, like apps restrictions and all that. But yeah, I agree. Like middle school, probably with like restrictions.
Mm-hmm. I would maybe like if earlier it would be a flip phone. I'd be like, "You're gonna call me," and they're like, "But I want apps," and I'm like, "No, you call." That's what phones are for.
All this phone can do is make phone calls.
Ew. And maybe text very slowly.
S U.
Or you saying something, Hans?
I was just saying.
E.
I think like now, of course, the whole thing with like Yoshi and Uktar was like a joke. They all are next to each other, but like Yoshi would be like, "Oh, we need phones." I just wonder, but I wonder if that was like supposed to be like foreshadowing. That's also supposed to be foreshadowing or not? Because like I got something to say about
Yoshi doesn't get into the phones the same way as the cave people do.
Right. But like I do want to like at some point in this podcast episode, I want to like get to like what the possible message of this like show episode is.
Mm-hmm. Well, they do get to it pretty darn fast because it's not like 1 minute after Mario has instated phones that
they're going crazy.
This is terrible.
This is a problem. That's why Boss says it works. This is a problem.
Mario's had enough of these phones. And it's getting into the problem that the vines also, they're just super cluttering up the area to the point that they're gaining sentience and the phones are starting to unionize. What are we gonna do?
It makes me think of this one episode of Larry Boy, the rumor weed episode.
That's a good one.
It's that like the weeds gain sentience from people gossiping about each other, and like they start to take over
in
the town. Mm-hmm. Well, it's like it started with someone gossiping about something, and then the rumor kept spreading, and the more the rumor spread, the bigger the plant got.
Helped it mutate.
And then there was just like weeds everywhere and the one giant weed. And I'm like, man, that would have been such a more interesting episode if Mario had to fight like a giant phone vine monster of his own creation.
That would have been interesting.
That would have been
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, we're boring.
Frank Ridgway over here he's got a real chip on his shoulder. I think that chip has been years of being ignored in favor of people being on the phone. I can just feel from the way Mario is talking about phones, it's like, this isn't Mario talking. This is Frank talking. He's talking about phones and how he doesn't like how his wife is on the phone. He doesn't like how his mom was on the phone.
He just sounds so disgruntled all the time. Like for the rest of this episode, he just keeps complaining about the phones. I'm like, you were so excited to make the phone, and now you've remembered how much you hated phones.
So is he like a boomer? So are you sure he's like in
He's a
60s
boomer.
or 160s?
Okay, so, well, when this had come out, he was 60. So I don't think he would have been a boomer. He was before boomer. He was born in 1930. He would be approximately as old as our grandma is. And I don't even know what generation she's a part of. What's the generation? There's the silent generation, but that's the one
The flappers? I don't know.
No, that's the silent generation. After World War I, everyone went silent because they don't want to talk about the war. That's what that one's for. But it's the one between silent and baby boomers, which is where the insult boomer comes from.
The Great Depression.
That might have been silent. I'm gonna look this up. The silent generation.
The Great Depression was like,
It was
late
after the 20s was the 30s with the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a demographic cohort. Here we go. This is what I need. Sociology. Okay, so there was... The greatest generation was the one before... Oh, the greatest was the one during World War I and before the Great Depression.
Like ironic.
Okay, they were in the silent generation. I was in.
Alright.
And then it was baby boomers, Generation X, millennials, Z, and we've got alphas incoming.
Oh,
I can't
great.
wait till we get to betas.
We're running out of letters.
We're going into the Greek alphabet. That's how bad we're getting.
Maybe we'll get to the Chinese alphabet.
Ooh, the
That'll be
Sha. Generation Sha.
Alright.
They've already got eras in China. Same with Japan. Like the Raisho era.
Like Meiji.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
They've already got this all
So
done.
not only is
Anyways.
everybody like on the phone all the time, but they're also like neglecting their crops.
Neglecting their duties.
Neglecting all their duties.
The crops, and it hasn't even been a full day, but already the
And they
crops are wilting.
They can't even instate a phone bill, whoop whoop, because
Whoop,
they
whoop.
can't read.
Yeah, like I thought. Okay, when I first read the summary for this episode, I thought it was gonna be like a boy who cried wolf thing, where like the cave people are like constantly bugging the Mario Bros. Like, Mario Bros, help! I need my toenails clipped or whatever. But
That would have been funny.
But no, it's like what? It's like a fucking caveman apocalypse going on here.
They aren't eating. They're just talking on the phone. They're all gonna starve and die. And I'm like, yes, Luigi, we must let evolution take its course. Kill all the cave people. They'll all die in the Wiggler apocalypse.
They can't think for themselves.
Because what's that shaking, Delfino?
An earthquake!
Earthquake! I don't know who said the line earthquake, whether it was,
I think it was Luigi.
or if it was Mario talking in Luigi's voice, in Luigi's body, because that certainly did not sound like Luigi said that line.
It was
And the thing was, like, when it says, and wasn't that came out of Luigi's mouth, but that was definitely Mario's voice.
There was a lot
I think there was some line crossing that happened in that scene.
Also, we got a really great Luigi wheeze earlier when he pulls out the chisel block with
He
the
pulls
phone
out
bill.
the phone bill, and it makes like a whoop noise, but also he wheezes in the middle of that line, so it's just like, gotta get a phone bill!
I think that's him getting that weight off his chest. He was
gotta
keeping
get
the phone bill
phone
strapped
bill.
against his heart, so it's like,
Ugh, I chiseled it.
I thought it was actually him trying to hold his laughter, but that could be it, too, yeah.
That could also be it. It could be Tony
True.
Walker.
What if we made a phone bill, Mario? It's like he
Mario.
realizes how stupid this idea is midline.
That sounds like even funnier to me. That Tony Walker laughed through the line and they're like, that's great, let's go.
Maybe we should have
Keep
taught the
alive.
cave people how to read before inventing phones.
First of all, if you're trying to help these people, reading is like the
Fundamental.
foundation. That's
Truly
where
it
you
is that
start.
Mario wants to be the white knight in this situation, but he doesn't really know how to instill change properly.
The white savior. The white knight is where you defend someone
sorry.
with like full fault, such as what I constantly accuse of myself of doing with Nintendo, because I try and take the devil's argument, but the devil's argument seems to be the White Knight side for the most part. Anyways.
So it's time to call that random emergency number, which honestly, aren't the Marios the emergency number?
Yes! That was what exactly I was thinking! I thought you're the fucking heroes on this fucking show! Who the fuck else would you be talking about? The cave people?
It's like, who are we calling? Like, you're the one supposed to save the day.
Great being, oh Lord! Oh, pasta power, pasta might!
Like, are they calling Peach to come get them a power up? Because Peach is kind of busy.
They're calling the pasta lords.
Are they calling Bowser?
The great spaghetti monster. The flying spaghetti monster. What's his name?
The what?
Flying spaghetti monster.
The flying spaghetti monster. I don't know that one.
You don't know?
No.
Man,
I know flying purple people eaters, but
yeah, that was a meme back in the day.
Okay. It's like an OG creepypasta.
Okay, flying spaghetti monster.
It was just like, it was like when atheism was like starting to get like.
Oh, I thought that was a Desegia enemy. Or I see it now. Okay, I'm recognizing this. Yeah. It's like Cthulhu, but instead of tentacles, it's spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like he's friends with pirates and all Germans, so are all descendants of the flying spaghetti monster. So I am a spaghetti squid elf.
This is wonderful.
So not only is there no emergency number to call because they are the emergency number, but Luigi doesn't have any money because he's been buying too many sodas.
I don't have any money, and they're like, "Well, get
just
money
do what
like
the cave people do and punch that block." And for some reason, Luigi's like, I feel kind of guilty about this. Why does he feel guilty? They steal money from the blocks all the time.
Yeah.
Luigi feels guilty for cheating the system that he set up in the first place.
This is what I mean by is everything going okay, Luigi?
I also like how Mario says, "You'll feel more guilty when I'm dead."
Yeah, that's a good line. Okay, I'll make that.
What Luigi is referring to is it's like where if you want change at the vending machine, you could just hunt around the area and scrounge it up. Or
you could like stick your hand like into the vending machine or like kick it a little bit.
Because that was someone else's stuff and you're kind of stealing it from them. And I think that's what Luigi was trying to go with, but we forgot that money is a free currency in this world and it's very easy to acquire.
I'm just thinking of that weird inflation joke in Scoopa Koopa.
Why are you thinking about that one, Peach?
Well, because we're talking about money, and that's that was the original joke.
Okay,
it's just a double entendre, like touching all the phone people.
It was a euphemism.
Everything's a euphemism.
So the phone line did not work because Peach is like crashed because so many people
are calling. That the line's busy. I like how Luigi's sweating.
There should have been a phone line exclusively for emergency calls. Like, one person to do casual
You
stuff.
already know that Mario didn't think ahead here, and he thought the normal phone line was the emergency line, but everyone's using the emergency line just for fun.
Okay. As people do in real life. It's like when police officers turn on their sirens so they can skip traffic. I'm allegedly, I'm not accusing anyone of doing that.
I wonder if, Mario would have been like, the poster boy for accelerationism, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are. So Mario's like, I guess we gotta climb up the vines because we're getting surrounded. So they start going up the vines.
We found where all the budget went in this episode. It went to Mario freaking out.
Yeah.
Because like, there's a couple scenes here and a little later where it's like Mario's panicking, like getting attacked by vines or like getting
Thrashing
attacked by
around.
these wigglers, thrashing around. It's like clearly all the budget went there because it actually looks pretty decent. I love like Mario's little bunny kicks later. It's funny.
We need to
Yeah.
climb higher, but like we can't get up because the vines
There's
have
too many
trapped us, but
vines.
all Mario really needed was a damage boost to hit the block because
Oh,
one of the wigglers decides to bite his foot and he
Oh.
freaks out and springs up into the air.
I had to talk about this. Okay,
Okay.
you know, because like, are you done like with your, with all,
Yeah.
okay, because like I got to talk about this. Okay, because
Okay.
like here's the thing. Okay, I think I've seen these episodes as a kid. Okay, it's like one of the episodes I've seen.
Oh
Okay,
boy.
and I just want to say this right now. Okay, all right. So first of all, Mario, the original name was Jumpman, right?
True.
Okay, and like okay, I get like whatever. It's too high for him. Okay, Mario can't jump that high, but.
Okay.
The way the scene was presented makes it look so fucking pathetic, especially with all the fucking fights out there. You're telling me the one thing that Mario knows that are doing have axes can't jump that fucking high.
Dang.
Jump, man!
Jump, Mario, jump.
I couldn't jump.
Are you fucking idiot?
Although it makes sense when you think of the damage boost, because it's like if he was stuck in the vines and he got a damage boost, then that would have propelled him through the vine with his invincibility frames.
That was an accidental workaround. I don't think Frank or Phil played the game, so
I think it would have been funnier if they'd bit Mario in the butt, but I guess they thought there was too much butt action going on.
The foot was closer, sadly.
I guess Frank doesn't think butts are as funny as everybody else.
So Mario goes to grab the star that he somehow hit through a damage boost. And he can't really grab it because he's too small.
Yeah.
So I think he falls down the tree.
And he's about to get eaten by wigglers.
I really like Luigi looking down at me like, oh my god.
Oh, me. Oh, I get a power up. Whoa!
So then Luigi
So it's
grabs
time
it
for
with two hands.
pest control. You called?
I just like how this is like the second episode I'm in, and it's also an episode where the Mario Bros get a power star.
Mm-hmm.
I like how it also like draws back to Scoopa Koopa, where when Mario jumps into the restaurant, he goes, "Health inspection!" I love that bit.
You can tell Phil Harnage wrote both episodes. Maybe Phil Harnage helped out with that.
It feels very Ghostbusters-y when they're like, "You called?" And he's like, "Yeah, I've got this big wiggler problem." Luigi's like, "These are going to be the first caterpillars in orbit."
So before that, they are playing an invincibility music, but it's very MIDI-like.
Yeah, it's weird.
I kind of laughed to myself. I'm like, this is a Luigi discount invincibility thing. But apparently being invincible means that you flash colors at a, honestly, eye-straining pace.
Yeah, it's like a seizure-inducing.
This would not have flown.
This is why Electric
today.
Soldier Porygon got pulled off the air.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah, I'll give a little defense is that Luigi isn't usually really close to the camera and it's not the background flashing like crazy, but it was a lot that I was like, ooh, it could have been slowed down or the colors better, like gentler on the eyes. Either way, we now are going to see wigglers in
space. I just kept thinking of in Kid Cosmic, there's a joke where they're all getting attacked by aliens, and so Rosa like shoves a bunch of aliens into like a rocket and tosses it back into space. And so later on they go into space for something and you see like all of the space creatures like frozen in space like and she goes like, "Spaceman sleeping?" And Grandpa G is just like, yeah, sleeping. Let's go over here.
I love callbacks.
It's so funny. Spaceman sleeping? Oh, it's Papa G, sorry. I haven't watched Kid Cosmic in a while.
It's one of my favorite, not a cliche, but it's one of my favorite tropes is when you throw something out of like existence or you
And then-
throw it out of the room. And then later, when you pass by the room or get thrown in the room yourself, you see all the things that were thrown in there previously. It's just like, oh, they remembered. That's fun.
They did that in Despicable Me. It was really funny there.
They
It's
did?
like it's the one minion that like drinks the
Oh, the who's
anti-gravity
floating
juice
in the
and he
air,
floats
and you'll
into
see
space.
him.
And like occasionally you'll just see him floating around, and then when they steal the moon, you see him in space.
That stuff is funny, where someone leaves the scene in a funny way, and then you'll see them again. Anywho, yeah, Luigi's got super strength, and he, like, just picks up the wigglers, he just juggles them, and then puts them on a tree.
This is what invincibility stars do.
And he flings it backwards. And for some reason, the wigglers are really wanting to munch on the meteor that fell into orbit.
I thought that they were gonna go eat the meteor and explode.
I
So
thought
it's
that
like-
they were gonna eat the
Or like
meat
on
and
fire. or
mutate and come back down.
Oh no.
It's like I feel like Phil Harnage is really Phil Carnage, and he was on a lot of that good cocoa.
He definitely was trying to cram all these episodes into writing.
Yep, he's on the cocoa.
And you know what?
Cocoa.
Cocoa. You put the lime in the coconut and shake it all up.
I could
And
snap.
so, of
I would-
course, what do the cave people do? But what all customer service people do?
complain to the maintenance
complain.
department. It just reminds me
It's
of
just
the
a little
Odd
too
Squad
real.
episode where the two agents who work in the main front, Olympia and Otis, they run into some maintenance people who are like, the door's busted, you're gonna have to walk around, and they're complaining, and they're like, what the heck? Can't you guys get this done like faster? And they're like, what? You think it's easy being maintenance? And they're like, yeah, let's trade jobs for a day and let's find out. So the two maintenance people got to be agents and the two agents had to be maintenance people. And the entire episode is people just being like, maintenance, this thing, the gas leak broke out and it's spewing ping pong balls everywhere. Like, you gotta help me. Maintenance. The dancing disco light is on. You gotta help. And they're doing all this stuff and they're like, the phones have been quiet. And they're like, you haven't been listening to the correct phones. That's only one person's office. Most calls are redirected to the other person's office, and there's just phones ringing off the hook. And then they run in, and someone who's been bugging them all day about the popcorn machine is like, I tried to tell you. And there's popcorn flooding the office. And they're like, this is terrible. And at the end of the episode, they're like, we're sorry. We've learned that maintenance is a hard,
We've learned
intensive
that
job.
we should be nice to customer service people because it's hard.
And I bet you learned that being an agent is also hard work. And the maintenance people go, nope, it was actually really fun. I want to do that again, but I guess not. Here's your badges back. And they're like, oh, I guess we were the only ones who needed to learn a lesson.
Maintenance people was like, hey, day off.
Anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying that Uktar walks up to them and is like,
He's like,
"The
hey,
phone-
Uktar's phone doesn't work. Fix it.
Uktar was on the party line with bodacious babes.
Oh, God.
I know it was a little weird that Mario was like, "What have we done?" Like it wasn't already evident. But yeah, Oktar being horny would make me fucking horrified.
Absolutely.
I guess it's that little kid curiousness.
You're supposed to be a child. No.
I'm just wondering, are phone scams already a thing? If there's bodacious babes on the line waiting just for you,
Waiting just for you,
Uktar.
Uktar.
I know you
Oh my
want to
God.
play with those Batan rangs. Like Leisure Suit Larry, where you call the bad line.
I just
Bad
love how
man.
Toadstool is so fed up with this that she just quits. She's like, really? Really?
Well, she's like, get behind these vines. I'm stuck because I've been having to cross wires so much. And they untangle her, and she's like, I'm taking a
I
break.
need a break because this is stupid.
So they walk out, and they're like all in agreement. These phones are stupid, and they have to go because. And they mentioned something about getting tangled up in the wrong mess, and that they might get tangled into the wrong thing. And all I could think of was back in Tarzan
Clayton gets strangled by the vine. Oh my god.
It's like, what if that happens with all these phone
It
lines?
is true. One of those vines is dangerously close to Mario's neck.
I feel like it could also be that a dinosaur could be walking through, and it'd be like when fish get caught or like little otters get caught in those drinking can things where they're like
Speaking of that, it's time for the return of Barney.
Barney's back.
And they're like, oh no, now we're even more screwed because all the cave people are on their phones and don't notice this giant earthquake shaking dinosaur.
I would have thought that the phones would have actually proven useful and they would have gotten
Because-
two birds with one stone by getting the dinosaur entangled in all the vines.
That's what I thought. I'm like,
That
if there are
would've
really
been
so many
smart.
vines, then shouldn't
That's
that
actually
giant dinosaur get
thoughtful.
caught in the vines?
Maybe they're like a cat. They know how to avoid it all.
Maybe he's just big enough that he just tears down the vines.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, I forgot about a line that I liked. It's when the Wigglers are eating the vines, and
Ooh, that was a while ago. Oh yeah,
Sorry,
it's like,
it's
oh
when-
well, we're getting rid of one problem.
well, we're getting rid of one of
Yeah.
our problems. And
says
I'm like,
Luigi.
I kind of thought of that line again when the Barney dinosaur reappears. I'm like, oh hey, they're gonna get rid of their phone problem because everyone will be dead.
No more transferring calls when the other side is on hold permanently. Whap whap.
So I think the idea that they say is that Peach and Luigi are going to warn the cave people or something while Mario takes care of the dinosaur. Except unlike other musical interludes, we don't like switch back and forth. We're just with Mario the whole time. So for
Yeah,
all
we're just
I know,
hanging out
Peach
with
and
Mario.
Luigi just went and got a mimosa or something.
Mario did this and then he left, and then Luigi and Toadstool looked at each other and were like, so this is stupid, right? Oh, totally. Are we going with this? No.
It's like they didn't even try to
No.
like, get the cave people. They're just like, yeah, no.
They watch him go and they just go into the
Like,
back room
bye.
and crack open a cold one
A nice brewski.
and process the day.
They're like, man, we've been working all day. This is-
I really like that. But it is indeed music time. And sadly, unlike the Super Show, we couldn't afford Heard It Through the Grapevine.
So
'cause,
instead, we're going to listen to the grapevine.
you know, we listen to the grapevine.
Grapevine.
Woo! Just get it from Matron of Minor.
Oh, God.
Dancing in the dinosaur world shine.
This whole song just feels like they were just really sad that they couldn't sing Heard It Through the Grapevine.
Hans, do you have any thoughts on the song? Or
I mean, I do like how in all the songs when he goes,
oh yeah, it's Cootie Pie.
sorry, Cootie Pie, but
That's
you
okay.
know, they're the same character. So, but like you know, I mean, I don't like any of the songs. I'm sorry.
That's okay. The songs are an acquired taste.
This
Taste
one
for
was pretty, like, I was
trash.
sleeping through it.
This one was like, oh, someone was on a. Someone had to get
Someone
this out
had a
first take.
budget.
So also, I feel like the budget honestly went to Susie Zilla. It went to Barney in this
True.
song because Barney is just whipping around.
I got one
Yeah,
part, like, Mario
like-
tries to pull a 64 move and grab onto Barney's tail.
Yeah. And there's just a weird thing too, where like just like Mario tries to, like ninja star some coins in him. No, that's like fine, but like I guess you know, but like then like
Well, it's
like
weird.
chews on the coins, and then it like turns like a solid lump.
It's like Mario bashes the blocks to try to get a power up, but all he can find are coins, and so like he's like, I guess I'll just use these coins. He starts like throwing
Yeah.
coins at him.
And
Yeah,
then
I
it
think
The
that's
dinosaur's
great.
like, ugh.
coins and it makes a gold lump and then it throws the lump back at Mario and gives him a concussion. And it's okay. Before we get to that moment, I want to mention that when the dinosaur is rampaging through, it's like running into the houses and people aren't noticing because they're stupid and they're on their phones. But while this is happening, there is this one lady that looks like Ursula.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Did you see her too?
yeah.
I will say this is the most creative we've gotten with the cave people designs.
Definitely.
Usually it's like the same cave people over and over again, but like
Right.
we got the
Three.
Ursula lady, we've got like a different baby, we've got like
Mhm.
Ukhtar's weird girlfriend,
That's his bodacious
Yeah.
babe.
his bodacious
Yeah.
babe. And I'm like, dang, it's actually a new model.
But there's a lot of that going on. And I think this is the closest that we get to the fat reference in this episode is this Ursula lady just like falling to the ground and not noticing that she fell to the ground because she always walks around with loud thumps. But that's a bit of a reach, even in my book. This might be the first episode that we don't have a fat joke or fat comment. Because we've been having a lot of those lately. We think it's
I don't know.
Phil.
Did you see how big boned that dinosaur was? They were making
Which
fun
one?
of the dinosaur Barney earlier.
Okay, I don't know if they mentioned Big Bone, but I will listen back and my statement may be amended, but we might be in for so many insults.
man.
So when Barney spits the gold lump, it bangs off Mario's head and onto
It gives
a
him a
block.
concussion.
It gives him a
Yeah.
concussion, and it summons a feather, but Mario is too concussed to grab the feather.
I felt for Mario in this scene. It's like he can't get it. It's like he's just not able to. This just makes me sad.
This is probably the second worst like animation or continuity error in like the series.
I
Like-
understand what they were going for, but you first.
Okay, so I even wrote this down. So
Mhm.
okay, so possibly the worst animation error in the series is probably the one in the Christmas episode where Mario puffs the smoke twice. I mentioned that in the comment section, I think, but
Okay.
so okay. Alright, so first, there's the feather, okay? Now,
Mhm.
Mario loses the feather, alright?
Mhm.
However, then Mario's like, oh, I got an idea, but he has a star!
Okay.
So it's that in Mario's concussed state, he's seeing stars. And he's like, wait a minute, seeing stars. Didn't we do a joke like this in the Super Show?
Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck! That is the worst!
We
It's
are
so
here.
dumb.
No, we're staying because he grabs one of his
He
dizzy
grabs
stars.
the dizzy star and becomes invincible Mario.
That's what it
And
was.
he
It was not.
yeets that Barney right out of there.
Jesus, this show does a lot of terrible ways to establish shit, but that is bad.
This just sounds like a life hack to me. Just give yourself a concussion and get an invisibility star.
You'll become God!
Concussion 1, concussion 2.
Concussion green, concussion blue.
It's from Majora's Mask. It's where whenever Chugga Conroy was playing as Mikau, whenever he would try to like dive into the water, he would immediately bang his head on the ground.
Oh yeah, because you'd have to jump into.
Because whenever you jump as a Zora, like you do a dive, but like sometimes when you do a dive, the ground
You
is
jump
right
too
there,
early.
so you jump straight and bang your head against the ground. It's like, Mikau, are you okay? No wonder
happens when
he's
you-
dead.
trying to enter the professor's lab. They thankfully amended this in the US version that you don't have to jump into the port for the lab, but in the Japanese version, you do have to jump into the port. And it's like, ow. This just hurts, man. Oof. So yeah, that's what's going on.
Oh god. So we should call him Mario da Vinci because he's invented a dinocopter. But if we've learned anything from this episode, Mario should really stop inventing things.
Because he's breaking more than he helps.
Luckily,
Also-
no one was around to witness his invention of the dinocopter, so it didn't catch on.
Also, when he yeets Barney into space, we
Oh.
see the Wigglers again.
He like
Yeah.
pulls straight into the Wigglers, who are just like, "Hey, we were trying to eat here."
Strike.
And then Rayquaza kills everybody in the episode, the end.
There you go.
God, I wish.
No. So
Unfortunately, we have to fix our mess.
Luigi and Toadstool have drank enough for the night, and they're like, all right, let's go pretend that we did something. So they walk up to Ukhtar, because I guess they know where he lives. we've established this before in
There's only
Cake
like
Christmas.
20 houses, like, geez.
Uktar is sleeping with the phone in his hands, and they're like, aw, they're even on the phone in their sleep, which to me sounds more like they passed out while talking.
Maybe they're sleep talking.
I didn't sound like they were, but they're like,
Maybe
let's
he's
get rid
still
of
on
the
hold. They put
He's
him
at
on
the
hold
DM.
and he fell asleep.
He's at the DMV.
Oh no.
It's the dinosaur motor vehicles.
So it's time for Yoshi to save the day by eating all of the vines.
Because we remembered that Yoshi has this endless appetite, and if we want to easily get rid of the vines without causing a massive fire, we should just have Yoshi eat them, because they're all connected, so they'll all just go back to him. Yeah.
So,
how do the cell phones work?
They just took those by hand.
Yeah, it's a cartoon.
It's cartoons, so it used cartoon line.
I just love how things evolved so crazily that some of the cavemen had cell phones, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
the cell phones did not work because the cell phones had a really short cord to connect to the other side, so people thought they were using the cell phone when they were just
talking to themselves.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
That would be super funny.
Well,
that's exactly what happened.
Why did
so
Mario
dumb,
groan?
they don't notice that they're talking to themselves. Well,
okay,
it's that
here's
when
where we go.
Yoshi's eating the vines, he makes one last vine pun, and Mario is so sick of these vine puns that he just goes, "Oh my gosh! If no one ever says the word vine again, I will be happy."
Hey, Mario,
I didn't even like.
I found a new YouTuber. His name is Vine Sauce.
Ah!
You know, I wonder, was he just bothered by the pun? Because I've watched this episode 4 times, okay?
Okay.
Are you? Okay.
And I barely
in
watched
the
this episode twice.
Just for us.
Yeah, in the audience, of course.
For you. I think what it was, I also caught it earlier. It's that Mario made a fine pun. So when he heard
he did.
fine again, he was like, don't mind me of my past mistakes. He's so sad. And also Mario remarks what I did in this episode, which is, why didn't you just get Yoshi earlier to solve the problem? He wasn't a fan of phones, and he would have gladly eaten the vines, because they'll eat like anything that's
I'm surprised that wasn't a problem earlier that they were having, was that Yoshi was eating all the vines.
Yeah,
because that's what happened in the wheel thing. It's that Yoshi was eating all the stop signs.
These things.
Maybe it is that they've trained him better.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Well, that would be it for us. Hans, do you have any last remarks on the episode?
Yeah. Is Phil Harnage an anarcho-primitivist? This just shows killing my brain cells.
Do you mean that he believes in primitive people?
Because this is like the most, because okay, fine. If this was an episode about not being reliant on technology, that's one thing. But this episode just strikes me as like just being anti-technology.
Okay, I've looked it up. It's an idealization where you revert to a primitive experience. So it's like Amish, but even further back, or is it?
Basically,
Amish?
It's
Okay,
I think you have a point where this was Frank being like, these darn kids and their darn phones.
I think this was Frank. He heard the news that some businesses were getting mobile phones, and he flipped the lid. He flipped the art studio table that he was working at, and Phil was like, hey, bud, you've got a story to tell, and I've got an outlet for you.
I think Phil Harnage's influence comes in the weird touching line.
Touching.
And everyone getting tied up in the vines.
He's like,
that was Bob Forward, not Phil Harnage.
Sorry.
He's the proto boomer.
You're accusing the wrong person.
He hates the damn kids on their phones.
Those darn kids and their darn phones. I think Phil Harnage helped when it came to things from the games. Like, is there an item that I feel like what happened was Frank wrote most of the script, and then he wrote, like, in parentheses, write battle scene later. And then when Phil was trying to finalize the script, he's like, oh shoot, Frank turned it in half complete. He didn't write any of the battle areas. I guess I'll write a little something there. Do. Okay, good, done. And he sent it in. It was unfinished because Frank passed out, drunken stupor, after writing about how much he hated phones. Allegedly. Alleged by me.
Allegedly, how much he hated telephones.
I like
Oh
that
my
theory.
gosh. You never call me anymore,
Ruffykins.
Ruffy. You never call your grandma.
I'm sorry, Grandma. Oh, you're no good to me.
He's
You're
the-
You're just doing
Fun
your
fact.
you're watching your dumb television show.
Are you doing that little game show, Ruffykins?
There's a fun fact.
What is your
Phil's
What's the fun
mother
fact?
is the mummy from Super Mario Bros. 3.
Okay.
I'm joking, by the way. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, right, the mommy mummy
Oh,
from that one
jeez.
episode.
I had almost successfully blocked that from my brain.
I'll remember it for you, so you continue to.
Thanks.
Anyways.
Anywho, we
that's a
finally
lot.
reached the end. I think I will concede that this is probably the worst episode I've seen so far.
You think it's the worst because it was the worst media is boring media?
Yeah.
I do understand that when
I
it's
love this show
insane.
because it's insanity.
Yeah,
But like
when
here, it just
something-
felt like an old man yelling at a cloud.
This is exactly what it was, yelling at a cell cloud. I like how putting the writer's perspective into things really influences how the
True.
show.
This is the kind of thing that I don't like about caveman stories. It's the whole like, oh, we've invented this, like this is how this came to be. And it's just like, I find that kind of thing super boring.
Yeah, I think it's that you gotta start off earlier, like the Aardman movie Early Man.
What is the next
correctly had-
episode gonna be? Mario teaches the cave people how to make sliced bread, but they end up causing the
the pizza
Shoot.
market to explode.
What is it? The Iron Revolution?
Bronze?
No, it was it's where all the child workers in Britain.
Industrial
Industrial Revolution.
where people were getting their fingers chopped off and
Yeah,
put in
something like
sausage
that.
cans.
Yeah.
Oof. Read the jungle for details.
That's the next episode.
I
think what definitely was happening was Mario was talking about instant communication, which is a very touchy thing. It's that honestly the communication pipeline goes from seeing
Really,
each other.
it feels like Mario had an idea in his head. Like, oh, we could call an emergency line if there was an emergency. But then he's like, oh, we'll need a phone. Here, I'll make a phone. So he was working backwards that way, and it's like, that's not how you do it, Mario.
Yeah. Mario
First, you should teach them how to read.
He learned his lesson from Wheel Thing, where before he was like, why don't cave people just automatically know what cars and rules of the road are like I do with my Brooklyn background? And he was like, oh, shoot. I did it again, Luigi. Why'd you let me do this, Luigi?
Well, this time around, Luigi wasn't as much of an enabler. Oh yeah, we should probably do our MVPs.
Yeah. Who's
Let's
your
let
MVP?
Hans go
Peach?
first.
Okay, Hans, who's your MVP?
the voice actors.
The voice actors.
They are too good for the show.
I agree.
I like how Toadstool had a different voice for when she was on the phone.
Hello, Mushroom Central.
It's just like it's Mario and Luigi. Just really, those actors just like really went to town.
They really, honestly, it was them, and also Yoshi made me feel like honestly sad when he's crying.
He got
His
hurt.
voice actors did a really good job too.
Yeah, his voice actor's good, but I hate Yoshi's voice in the show.
It's okay.
Here's the thing. I get it. I get what because it is like if you're going to base it if just solely based on Super Mario World. Yoshi's characterization is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So it can't blame him for making Yoshi baby-like for speaking Yoshi like that. But I can't stand the voice. Like, the voice actor's fine. But yeah, that's my thing.
I think Yoshi's cowardice also connects that in the games, if he's hit by anything, he immediately squeals and runs
Yeah.
off. That could also
Right.
add to the babiness about it. And it's like, okay, now
Yeah.
Ghost R Us is making more sense because
Yeah,
Yoshi
yeah,
would just see something spooky and run off, just like the games. They
Yeah,
did a
yeah.
little more research this time, but
Right,
still
right.
not enough research.
Right.
So Peach, who's your MVP?
I really liked Luigi in this episode.
Luigi, he did have good
he
lines.
He was so detached from reality. I'm like, he's me. He also doesn't want to be in this episode. So he's just trying to make the best of it.
Right now, I'm at a tie between Luigi and Toadstool because you can't underserve the
Toadstool,
working
man.
lady. They're like, just
Right.
take care of everything. She's like, okay, and then she's getting into it, and she's like, this is not enough. I'm out. So
Huh?
I'll give it to Toadstool because she was the unsung hero pushing she was kind of enabling it, but at the same time, it was her job to enable it. So what can you do?
So
Stick it to the man. Also, did we mention there was absolutely no Koopa or Koopalings in this episode?
yeah, that was actually a pretty
That
unique
was
part
so
of that
weird.
episode. I noticed that too.
It was pretty funny. It's like
Mario
is
was
pure
truly the
dinosaur.
villain the whole time.
It wasn't Barney the dinosaur.
It was all Mario's own hubris that caused
Mario's
the problem.
ego.
You know,
And as we mentioned, Cave World is a very hazardous to your health.
in a way, you can almost say because Wart is a part of Mario's mind, Wart's the villain. Okay, I'm reaching. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We can reach for the skies, just like the Wigglers did when they got sent into space.
And eat a fiery asteroid that's in the vacuum space as well.
Nice and toasty. We're not talking about how they could breathe in space. We're not there yet.
You know what I want to do?
What?
I always want to do like an animated music video of the Super Mario World cartoon, but have the music be Pearl Jam's "Duty Evolution."
An AMV?
Yeah. Listen to that song. I'll say this during now. The music beat, just a heads up on the music video. It is not safe for work and pretty dark. So, but you can watch about the music video. So yeah, just listen to that song. It's very, very, very good. And just when I watch Super Mario World, the cartoon, I just keep being reminded of that song.
Do the evolution. I could say that.
Listen to the grapevine.
Woo! Someone was eating too many California Sunshines. That's what the writers were. They threw the episode at the writers, and they're like, "Dude, heard it through the grapevine," and they're like, "No, that's copywritten," and they just sadly performed "Listen to the Grapevine."
I listen to the grapevine.
This is just it's not a sad episode for us. This was full of laughs, but for the Mario show,
we've truly reached a new low.
Yeah,
in a way, it's like Pink Floyd's The Wall. It was made with anger. You can feel the rage broiling out of the episode.
Except Pink Floyd's The Wall, was even more than like a shoelace ham and and
it had really good animation in it.
Right.
Goodbye Blue Sky is like one of the best music videos you could get. Songs are good.
And it's no surprise why this show didn't get a 4th season.
I think after this there wasn't another mainline game yet, because the next one after this would have been Mario Land.
Yeah, Mario Land 2.
Or would it have... Okay.
It had a
Mario
weird
Land
comic
2.
series where Mario was naked.
Wash your full of skin.
We were robbed of, Wario.
We were.
God, man, if they made a WarioWare TV show, that would just be so great.
WarioWare TV show? Ooh, that's a tall order.
Someone made a concept for a WarioWare TV show on Tumblr, and I was just like, man, I would watch that so much. Just Charles Martinet going to town.
Yeah, you're stuck using your finger. Finger.
Make like a potato and mash.
Type.
Type.
WarioWare Gold
Ah!
is a really, I don't know.
It's
Okay,
pizza
before
time.
we go,
Oh yeah, no money.
I'll have to say that I do love WarioWare Get It Together for featuring the WarioWare cast so fervently, but I feel like I would still rank it a little bit below Gold because Gold has those
so good.
fully voice acted cutscenes that you can dub over yourself. The game
It really
knew
gives
that you wanted
every
to do
character
it.
the spotlight.
Yeah, and then Get It Together's little problem is that they bundled some people together, which it makes sense. 9-volt and 18-volt and 5-volt, they could bundle together and it works out. Ashley and Red, sure, but it's like Jimmy T had to kind of carry everybody else. It's like, oops, we forgot to give Young Cricket his own thing that Mantis and Lulu could piggyback off of. And
Oops.
Joe was snubbed. Joe. Hans, do you have any idea what we're talking about?
Somewhat. I don't know who's Joe. I know, like, 9-volt.
Yeah, Joe is he's usually the store clerk at Mona's store. He's just the guy. He kind of looks like Sam from Sam and Max.
He's a dog.
He's a dog.
He's a dog.
So he does what, he just kind of helps out. It's like side fill-in, I work the club. Anyways, that's it for us. So where can people find you, Hans?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Hans Gonk. No space between Hans and Gonk. And also on Twitter with the same handle at Hans Gonk.
Cool. What do you stream, Hans?
I stream, just anything I feel like right now, but I'm probably gonna go back to the old retro games. I'm gonna play some Cyberbots! The Mecha Revolution, or what was it called again? Cyberbots! Like old Capcom fighting game.
Ooh!
Woohoo!
That's good. Peach, where are you?
I'm taking
You're
a nap.
asleep.
Just
No!
you can
Wake
find
up.
me at
You're
peachsupremeart.tumblr.com.
Hooray!
Hopefully, I'm getting my art mojo going. I'm trying.
We're working.
Making some
working.
progress.
Yeah, your art's really good.
Oh, thanks, Hans.
See, Peach, you've got the support, but where's the passion?
I don't have the
You're missing
time
the
and motivation.
We gotta watch Gordon Ramsay talk about the passion. You've still got your.
I gotta steal my boyfriend's Discovery Plus info so that I can watch Chopped on Marathon.
You can always,
Chopped.
har, you know what I'm saying?
It's always
It's got like
watching.
all the Food Network shows, so we could watch Worst Cooks in America.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
All right, I'm at delfinodurians.tumblr.com. Yep. Our outro was composed by Taylor Lair, friend of the show and of both Hans, Peach, and I. You can listen to more of her music at tlair.bandcamp.com. That's TLaire.bandcamp.com. And also, I'm going to plug this in now. It's hopefully it's not closed by the time that this episode airs, but I've got a friend from the House of Mario who's got a GoFundMe to help fund her transition. A link will be in the description. Please donate if you can. You do not have to, but it would really help support her. I donate in Australian dollars, which are higher count. It's more money when it's less in USD. Anyways, she's got a GoFundMe, so go fund her in the description. Please and thank you. And with that, that's it for us.
Yay! Woo! I'm sorry, I'm busy on my phone. It's just so interesting.
Wait, out. Now you're on your phone.
I'm on my phone.
You're
I gotta check my Pokemon Go.
I've got a call. Okay. We are at the end of the episode, but I forgot to mention that talking to somebody.
More.
I'm sorry, but I can't believe we didn't bring it up, Peach.
What did I forget?
Calling somebody or audibly texting them when they are within ear range is something that our mom does.
Oh my god. I was trying not to think about that. It was mostly the other day. It was hilarious. It's that I had just gotten home from work. And so I was in the kitchen getting a snack. And so my mom, who was sitting in the living room, got Siri
2 rooms over.
2 rooms over, went, Siri, text Peach that there's snacks in the kitchen.
Ready
I
to
was like,
send?
ready to
Send.
send. I was just like, Mom, I'm right here. I could hear you texting me.
At this point, we do it
I
just
feel
to
like that
make cracks.
joke has gone on for so long since then. It's like I'll be like, "Hey Siri, tell Mom."
We'll just yell, "Hey Siri, do this,"
Hey
even when we're
Siri,
not
do
talking to
this.
Siri at all. It's really fun.
It's great. You know, I kept expecting Siri to jump up on my phone when I kept yelling that.
Unless you have Hey Siri activated, it doesn't work
I
like that.
do.
You've got a fun Siri voice though. I made sure
I
you
do it at
changed
work because I
Okay.
have to set timers a lot at work, which means when I'm
Okay.
not at work, Siri will automatically just randomly sometimes ask me if I'd like to set 3-minute timers, and I'm like, no, Siri,
No, I'm fine.
I'm not at work.
It's fine.
Don't make me think about that right now.
Anyways.
You
Yeah,
want to
that's so
sign us
fun.
off, Hans?
You know, I don't know, just go, yeah, just go listen to Tay's music. Don't forget to go to that
GoFundMe?
Yeah, GoFundMe, and yeah, go listen to Pearl Jam's Duty Evolution as well. Woo!
Woo! Bye, Zani.
Bye,
Zombies!
Zani!
And now the crops are dying from neglect, while all they do is gossip. They don't work, they don't play, they've turned into phone junkies.
If they don't tend their crops, they don't eat. If they don't eat, they'll starve. It could be the end of cave people kind.
Speaking of which,
Earthquake!